better be. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Oh, we're all in the studio.
Oh, it's been a while.
What's up, folks? While we're waiting for everyone to join us, let's run through all of our partnerships. As always, head on over to OneCast Fishing. Thank you, Ben, for dropping all those alewives off for this next event up at Lake Erie. I know I'm going to use the crap out of them. Head on over to OneCast Fishing. Use that code, the OneCast, at checkout. All one word, save money on everything that you guys order. You need to get your hands on the snagless jigs, the weedless nets, the soft plastics, the long neck hooks. Check out those stingers, man. I got the 5-inch and the 3.5-inch alewife colored stingers that I've been crushing them on all summer long. Going to take those up there to Lake Erie and see if we can pluck a couple of those brown fish with them. So check out OneCast Fishing, veteran-owned company. Been a sponsor of the show since the very beginning. While you're online, use that link we always provide you. It's going to take you directly to Hobie Eyewear's website. Get your hands on all those different frames and lens options they have to offer. Hobie makes that floating frame lineup. We love that so much. Never lose another pair of sunglasses in the water. Before your next fishing trip, check our boys out at Deep Dive, man. Go to your app store or Play Store, download the Deep Dive app. It's got tons of different features that's really going to help you guys understand where you're going fishing, what to look for, bait tool selection, previous weather conditions and current weather conditions, how much water they're drawing, water levels, everything that you need to know. Tons of pros are out there promoting Deep Dive. There's a reason why they're doing that, because that app is fantastic. That annual subscription is going to cost you, like, I don't know, 8 urchin baits. So make sure you get your hands on the Deep Dive app. Hey, moving to Central North Carolina, you're going to need a good real estate agent to get you in the home of your dreams, and we can't think of anyone better than Uncle Terry. We call him Uncle Terry for a reason, because he's our Uncle Terry. Terry Carpenter with Howard Perry Walson and Caldwell Banker, licensed real estate agent, bass fisherman himself. He's serving the Central North Carolina area, is going to get you in the home of your dreams. Finally, I'm going to bring this up right now. This is a great segue. Ran across this thing on Facebook, and I see it all the time in all these different boat forums and stuff. This guy said, let's be honest, how many of you actually do trailer maintenance, boat trailer maintenance? He said, I've been fishing for 20 years in the same boat, and I've never educated myself on trailer maintenance. Let me tell you right now, if you don't take care of your boat trailer, it will not take care of you. That is what gets you to and from the lake, minus the vehicle you're pulling the trailer with. And if you need any parts or any sort of service whatsoever on your boat trailer, you need to hit up our boys out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and that's the Waymeyer Group. All you need to do, if you have any boat trailer part issues, or you just have a question about what right looks like, check out Waymeyer at 1-800-434-4824. They got customer service representatives on standby. They are subject matter experts in the boat trailer game. So make sure you guys give them a call. Man, we've sent them a number of people. I think Pete's dad just got his hands on some new parts for his Ranger boat. Mm-hmm. They've taken care of tons of touring anglers traveling around the country. They'll send the supplies and parts right to your doorstep. So check those guys out.
Make sure you let them know we sent you.
Yeah.
If you go from our recommendation. We don't benefit from the sale or anything, but helps us with our partnership and keep that going. I know that a lot of you have called folks in different forms, so appreciate the support and those that help make this possible for us.
There you go, Pete Dubs. Definitely hit them up, man. The number is right behind us, 1-800-434-4824. Just tell them that the boys over at the OneCast sent you. So Frank Duffy said, what's up? We got a cool show lined up. Some fishing rod stuff. Got a good buddy of ours that we've known for a couple years joining us. Haven't really had Thanks, Jeff. Haven't really had anybody talk about fishing rods on here. So we got our good buddy Ben Willis down at the coast here, who owns Core Sound Custom Rods. And I can tell you what, his rods are fantastic, man. I caught a bunch of fish practicing for the Lake Erie tournament yesterday, throwing the old Ned rig, the old OneCast Fishing weedless Ned with a little TRD on the end of it. And man, that rod does a fantastic job. I actually won that rod from Ben last year at a salt. Was it last year, Pete?
I don't know.
2 years ago, whatever year it was.
25. So last.
Yeah, 25 at a saltwater event, and Ben and I were able to take home the victory for one of the saltwater fish categories. We brought in I think close to 20 pounds of redfish. So it was a really cool day out there, just chucking and winding, some spinning rods and stuff like that. So we got him coming on the show, and he's kind of in the waiting room waiting for us to bring him in. But before we do that, what updates do we have right now?
MLF's going on right now. Day 2 at Lake Erie. Unfortunately for you, they're on the west side and Sandusky, so you're not making that long run over there. So
Don't be scared.
So, but maybe we'll key you on.
You get 7 minutes to fish if you make that run.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But that's going on. NPFL wrapped up. You guys already talked about that probably. Oh, I saw that they made a post, so I guess entries are still open. But for any of the veterans on here who listen, the NPFL Veteran Tournament, I think it's September 22nd, 23rd, 24th, whatever, that Thursday, Friday, or it is. It's over at Douglas Lake, close to Knoxville. I saw a post they posted a couple days ago. It might have been even today that there's still people can sign up because it says the first, I think, 100 boats, each team member gets a free reel.
Yeah.
Don't know what that reel is, but I'm assuming there's still spots open. So if you want to sign up for that, I think it was 100, maybe $200.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we got a lot of active duty former service members on here. So if you want to make that trip, go over and fish the NPFL Veterans Tournament. That still looks like it's still open.
Anglers are carrying a lithium fire extinguisher. I'm not.
I didn't even know that was a thing
because I've been testing a bunch and they don't actually work. So one of the cool things in my job is I get to test a bunch of cool stuff, and we have not found a single lithium fire extinguisher that actually extinguishes a lithium battery fire. So
can you even extinguish a lithium battery fire? Or do you got
the best thing to do is sink your boat.
Is it
literally just about the amount of water? There's no chemical compound we found that actually works.
Well, spraying water on it doesn't work.
It does, but you can't put enough on it.
Yeah.
You need to
you get.
So what they've actually got a unit in LA, the fire department now, that is essentially a rolling dumpster firebox. When a Tesla catches on fire, they roll up, they pull it into there, and then they take it and they dump it into a city pool. Because the only way to get it extinguished is to completely submerge it and just let it sit there till it goes out.
Is that because it's getting rid of all the oxygen?
So like one 12-volt lithium battery, if it were to catch on fire, it's roughly 100,000 gallons of water to put it out.
Just let it burn out. You're gonna have to let it burn.
You just gotta let it burn out.
Just let it go. Let it go.
So no, I don't have one. I know there's a bunch of other stuff being tested, but I haven't found a single one that works. I do know that our friends over there at Volta Power have one that seems to be very promising. They're actually building into their batteries, so check them out. Volta Power US. They've got one that's built in, and their testing seems to be really positive on that because it extinguishes it immediately. That doesn't really have time to get past the incipient stage. So
speaking of lithium batteries, Trey, you run a cranking lithium, right?
I do. Yeah.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys run an inverter or something between?
No.
So I don't either. Probably the reason why one of my alternators went out, and maybe part of the reason why yours went out too. But because when I was getting my power poles put on, I was talking to the mechanic. But I guess they do make inverters for that, so it helps.
Depends on what year it depends on what year your motor. Trey would need it.
Mine's a 21.
You shouldn't need it on 21.
Yeah, mine might have needed it. I mean, mine's a 2017.
I think it was anything after 2019. They beefed up, so Mercury and everybody beefed up their alternators.
I think I don't need
because
one
previously
now.
A lithium battery wouldn't even charge from the with the alternator in the built-in charging.
Yeah, so that was probably my problem is that the original. Well, no, because the original alternator is the one that burned up on me. And then I put the one on from the old engine that was a 2016.
Oh,
and then it went too. So I got a new one.
I got a 2024.
Oh, you're fine now.
I'm good now.
The newer ones are.
But it lasted a long time. You know what I mean?
That's the thing we
Yeah.
talked about. Like, as what years were both?
2017.
17. Like, it was almost about 8 years. So, like,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, Jeff asked he needs some rods repaired. Anyone know someone local that can get some eyelets put on?
You can take any rod to cash it
Yep.
locally and have them do it, but just order a rod, repair it. Find out what size eyes you need. Buy the eyes and just do it yourself. It's super simple. There's absolutely no reason to take it anywhere.
Yep.
And if you need help, Jeff, I live like 2 miles from you. Just let me know. I can show you how to do it. Super easy.
Yep. Super simple process. And
unless you want it to look as good as Ben would make it look. Ben Willis, who we're about to bring on.
Yeah.
I can tell you mine does not look that good. I use 30-pound braid and some super glue, but she gets the job done, boys.
That's right. Whatever works. So yeah, let's bring Ben on here real quick. Introduce him to the audience, man. Ben Willis down there in where are you at, Ben?
So currently I'm in Morehead City, but my rod shop is in Davis, which is outside of Beaufort, going down east.
Mm-hmm.
So out there in the middle of nowhere.
It's Beaufort, not Beaufort, right?
Yeah. No, it's not Beaufort. That's South Carolina, Trey. In North Carolina, it's Beaufort.
They're spelt the same.
Yeah, it's Beaufort, North Carolina. It's Beaufort in South Carolina. You got to be, and it's not topsail, it's topsail. So get it right.
Well, Ben, since we already had someone from the audience talk about Jeff, our good buddy Jeff Horner needs some new guides and stuff for one of his rods. Where do you recommend he order them from? What brand and where can you find them at?
The best place if you're going to try to do it yourself, where you're going to cut the guide off, take the thread off of it that was on there originally, and then put a new one on, kind of like what Pat did with some 30-pound braid, which I'm sure looks absolutely just amazing, Pat.
It looks great.
Yeah. Did you use super glue to glue it back down? Is that
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great. If you're going to do it yourself, go to Mudhole. They are in the United States, and they carry almost every major brand of guides. So you can go and find what size guide you need. There's a couple websites. Just Google what size guide do I need for this, and they'll give you a range, and you can get one. And most of the time, if you get one size bigger or one size smaller because you didn't order it right, it's still going to work.
Yeah. Mudhole Tackle, man. I think aren't they out of Florida?
Yeah,
they're out of Florida. They're a good they're a good distributor for guides and stuff. Nick Kincaid, what's up, man?
Pete Dubs said, I had a buddy bring a rod from a company I will not name to Raleigh fishing show. The company basically told him to kick rocks, talk to Cash, and they offered to fix it for free. Yeah, I can probably guess what company that was, but
So Ben,
if you tell me Pete Dubs, I'll 100% put him on blast. I don't care anymore.
So Ben, you're a saltwater guy, man. You're down there slaying. Well, you're not doing a lot of fishing right now because you're recovering from ankle surgery and stuff like that. But you do a lot of speckled trout fishing and redfish and basically anything that bites down there.
Did the guys get on the flounder this year? Wasn't it like a 2-day season this year? 1 day?
So the flounder season is September 1st through the 14th or the 7th through the 14th. I can't remember if it's 2 weeks.
1 week?
Yeah, it's only a week.
I mean, it used to be worse the last few years.
It used to be like 2 or 3 days, kind of like the red snapper season is. And pretty much with the red snapper season, the wind's going to blow that weekend. So you're not going to go catch red snappers.
Wow, they really put you in a position there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, for the last 3 years, I know for a fact that it has blown probably 15 to 20 every day of the red snapper season. It'll start blowing like Wednesday. It comes in Friday and goes out Saturday night at midnight.
Is the snapper season, is that federal, or does each state have their own too?
It's the Mid-Atlantic Fisheries Council, so it's federal, but it's regional at the same time, if that kind of makes sense. So that's
so confusing.
Yeah,
because here, I mean, the red snapper I used to fish where there really was no close season, but Ben, there's like NCWRC controls combined waters, and then you have the NCDMF, right? So there's like, depending on where you're fishing, there's different regulations for some of those species like flounder.
So technically, the North Carolina Wildlife, they control inland waters and they split the joint waters. Then the Marine Fisheries controls the coastal waters and they split with the joint waters.
Huh, that's not confusing.
I don't know.
It's so stupid because the only time I went snapper fishing was August, probably 17, but it was off Savannah, off Georgia.
Yeah,
and so it was season then, so that's why the guy took us snapper fishing, and we met our krill and stuff, and then there's a size limit. But like you toss them back, you take them from like 100 foot or more or whatever.
They die.
They die.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, we're out here, and it's just like, why can't we just? That's such a stupid rule. Like if it's in season,
And sharks gotta eat too.
oh, we caught one of those.
Do you
too.
guys fit, with something like that? We'll get into rods here in a minute, but we don't fish the salt a lot. But do you guys fizz saltwater fish down there so that they don't, suffer from barrel trauma and like, especially when they're not within limits or within season?
So most people do it. They've got regulations on when you have to have what's called a descending device. And a descending device it's got a clip that you put on the fish's lip and you put like a 12, 16 ounce weight on it. And it has a automatic release that goes with the depth of water that you want it to release. The clip on.
Probably pressure release, yeah.
It's a pressure release. So then the problem is, if you're technically bottom fishing off of North Carolina right now, and you're going for any of these snapper, grouper type species, you have to have a descending device, not only on the boat, but while you're fishing, it has to be rigged and ready to use at that time.
Really?
So there's a bunch of guys that do have what you're talking about, the needles that you poke them, kind of up underneath, and they learn that doesn't really get enough of the air out of those fish. So that's when they switch to the descending devices where you can pressurize it. And say you're in 120 foot of water, you can set it to 115 and drop them all the way to the bottom where the pressure relieves the gas versus you trying to get it out through a needle. Because what was a lot of the red snapper and the grouper and those kind of species, you were putting the needle in them and getting as much air out as you could, but they were in 120 foot of water. They would get down to like 80 or 90 feet and kind of stall out until their body allowed the rest of the gas to get out. So then what's happening is they're all getting, shark eaten.
I was about to say, like, well, what about on that descending device as you're blowing them down? Or are you just lowering them down to the sharks? Like, are they just getting whacked when, as they're going down?
With the descending devices, they're going fast enough that
it's almost a pound. It's like,
yeah. It's kind of like a roller coaster, right? Like, when you go to the top of the roller coaster, you're sitting there, click, 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 and you finally go over the top and you drop. That's kind of what the fish feel like.
Oh man! All right. So if that red snapper could make a sound on that descending device, what would it sound like?
Probably like one of those old cartoons where, like, Mickey Mouse or somebody gets filled up with all the air, and then they pull the hose out of them, and it's just that whistling noise going by.
I like that. Yeah.
That noise.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. I wanted to see if he'd make the noise himself. Yeah.
How much do those devices cost?
How much are one of those devices, Ben?
No clue. I don't go offshore enough. I have one, and we bought it probably 15 years ago.
I'll tell you in a second.
Started coming out. I think back then they were like $40. I'm sure nowadays they're probably 60 to 100. I would guess.
Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Gas is, $4 a gallon.
So if you catch a snapper out of season, or if you catch one that's not big enough, the $40-$50 out the window.
They have like an actual name for it. What's it called?
I don't know.
A descending device, a fish descending device.
He has descended.
So if anyone talks about bass fishing expensive, it's nothing compared.
Yeah,
to
no
saltwater.
kidding. You guys spend astronomical amounts of money down there or over there on the coast and stuff like that. But you know what though? Here's the difference. Saltwater guys eat a lot of what they catch, and we don't. We just throw them back. We spend all this money because our fish taste like crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They all taste the same.
But it's funny to me. What's up, David Fuchs? It's just funny to me. Like
they're like $60.
Okay. What's that, Ben?
They're expensive. And then you got to hope that lead weight doesn't get hung up on the bottom. So then you have to break the whole thing off and then go get another one. So,
just feed them to the sharks. It'll be fine. Nobody will know.
Okay. They are rigged up. I thought you were just dropping this thing. And it was a one-time use.
Yeah. There she goes, boys.
Another $60.
So it is a durable device.
Okay.
What we're talking
Unless
about.
it gets snagged.
Unless it gets snagged.
Hooked up to another fishing rod that's on the boat.
I gotta see. There's got to be somebody out there that strapped a camera to one of those descending devices and put it on YouTube. We'll have to look that up later and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, so you love the salt, man. You're a speckled trout guy, redfish guy. You're really good at it. I got the pleasure of fishing with you last year, and man, I had an absolute blast. And you can always tell when you got a bass fisherman on the saltwater because they get excited for every fish catch, right? For you, it's just another day, but for guys like us, it's like we've been out there and got skunked several times, and so catching a fish is a hot commodity. But we brought you on here also to talk a little bit about Core Sound custom rods and just kind of give us an idea, like, why did you start getting in? I think I already know the answer because we've talked about it before, but why did you start? What got you started into making your own custom rods?
It's a two-part story, to be honest with you, Trey. So the beginning of the entire story, I was growing up in Morehead City, and there was a tackle shop in Morehead called Pete's Tackle. And I wanted to learn how to fly fish.
Pete's Tackle? Pete?
No. The Pete I'm talking about was about 1/3 the size of that Pete.
I don't know how to take that.
We call him Lil Pete.
That was Little Pete.
Height, everything. I mean, but he was a super nice guy. I wanted to learn how to fly fish. I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. So my mom set up some fly fishing lessons for me to go to the parking lot, him teach me how to fly fish, and then she would run the cash register for 3 or 4 days while I was learning how to fly fish. Well, Pete also built a bunch of his own custom rods. So that's where it started. And then fast forward about 20 years, one of my neighbors in Davis is Dale Murphy, who worked at Pete's Tackle. So I got up with him, and he taught me how to build rods. I learned how to build rods, and then I started building my own. And the main reason I did it is because a lot of the rods I was buying in the stores weren't exactly what I wanted. So I wanted to build what I wanted. So that's kind of where the adventure started. Then friends, family, everybody else started calling me, hey, I want a rod. So then it became Core Sound custom rods.
So, I mean, there's no doubt that, myself included, I fish all the time, as you know, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like, but you also don't know what you don't know. And so when you get your hands on a custom rod like yours, man, and I'll tell you, for those on the show right now, Ben sent me a handful of rods before my first open event down in Kissimmee Chain. And I have one of his spinning rods here in the boat. There's a huge difference in every single rod that you get your hands on, whether or not you go to Walmart and buy a Shakespeare or an Abu Garcia, you have a Cashin rod, you have a Luz rod, you have a Enigma. Well, Enigma's not in business anymore, but the list goes on and on. All rods are different, but you really, when you get your hands on a rod, you have other brands and stuff that you've used before. What are some of the biggest things that you don't like when you get your hands on a rod from a bigger manufacturer and stuff like that?
For me, it's the total weight of a lot of the rods that are built. They just seem kind of heavy. And then also a lot, especially for a bait casting style rod, they go and run the guides down to such a small diameter guide frame on it that a lot of times, if you're not running like a straight mono or a straight fluoro, but you have a rod that's got braid to a leader, those guide sizes are so small it's almost impossible to get any knot through it. So then you're limited to only using fluoro and braid. And the other thing is, when you go to a store, unless you go to like a really very niche style shop, a lot of the rods that you buy are going to be, especially saltwater, you get a 7-foot medium action, or you get a 7'6" medium. A lot of the rods down here, because that's what people know about, so that's what you buy. So you couldn't get a lot of rods that are very geared towards certain tackle and certain inshore applications.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that bothered me the most about rods, is just the fact that they're heavy. A lot of the guide train sets, they go down such a small diameter, you can't get a leader knot through it, which in saltwater is a huge thing because we always run leader knots.
Yeah.
And then you just don't run rods.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you there because I run braid to leader on almost all my bass stuff, and I got away from a lot of those micro guides because
they'll knock the guides off or they won't come through.
Yeah, and I wish Cashin actually had bigger guides on some of theirs.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are up the, at the tip of the rod, like they just keep downsizing. It's just, even with an FG knot, which is just about the smallest diameter knot you're going to have for braid the leader, like, you got to check it every so often still.
You're like of a dying breed. That's why they don't do that anymore, because most people aren't running like braid the leader anymore. Well, most people are either running straight fluoro or straight co-poly, straight braid. So they're building the rods for the masses and not for the outliers. So you would, that's where you would benefit from somebody like a Ben Willis, because you could order that custom rod with the bigger guides to fit exactly what you like to do.
What's the benefit of smaller guides?
So
is better accuracy?
Well, yes, I was going to bring that up. And Ben, this is something that I've noticed, with rods and over time, like them downsizing the guides and stuff, like on the bass side of the house. And I don't know how much it applies in other niche parts of fishing, but like skipping a dock, for instance, like those micro guides on your pole, they really, really help with reducing any of that memory friction when you go to skip a dock, right? Because that's a huge thing. Skipping a dock and then cast like a really long, I feel like a really long cast on a crankbait. I feel like my casting is better. I don't do the braid to I don't do the leader deal, but I feel like my castability and my accuracy is a little bit better. However, there are bass anglers that will do the leader line to the braid, but they'll only make it about that far, right? They won't go like really far.
See it a lot with top water stuff.
A lot of top water,
foot or two.
Well, yeah, and I've done it where it's only like a cast when you reel it up. But the problem is if you break off and something, we'll have to retie and something, and it keeps getting shorter and
100%,
shorter.
Yeah.
So.
And a lot of guys, they do that braid to fluoro, braid to mono, whatever. It saves a lot of money, right? It's a big money saver and stuff. So I definitely see your point with the guides not being small enough and stuff like that. But, when you started developing rods, you started to do it because of the way that you like to fish, right? So, course on custom rods, like are you currently taking orders from people and making custom rods for everybody, or is it kind of like a word of mouth type situation right now?
I am taking orders for anybody and pretty much everybody right now. I've got 2 local tackle shops that's got some of my rods in them where I'll go there, talk to the owners of the tackle shop, say, hey guys, what do y'all want? What these other brands not giving you, or what thread colors would you like to see on some rods? Different things. So I've got some areas where I'm filling in for some tackle shops where, because the problem is when they order from a big brand manufacturer, they can't say, I want 2 or 3 rods with red, or I want a rod that's got purple and gold like East Carolina, because some people might want to support their local college teams, things like that. So I'll go and fill in some rods for them and do things like that. So right now I do everything from offshore fishing, blue marlin, mahi, king mackerel, live bait tournament rods. I've got a couple guys that are on the tournament team that's running the rods for us this year, and then I've also started picking up some of the local charter captains who have started running the rods for me. Which that has been one of the best sides of it, is getting the guide program going, because now I've got a handful of guides that I can talk to and say, hey, what did you like about this? Or what did you like about that? Or I'll build a rod and say, hey, try to, take this, fish with it, try it, tell me what you like. So then I can dial things in where if someone calls me and says, hey, I'm going saltwater fishing and I want a rod to throw this, or I want something to throw that, I'll have something for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, word of mouth is everything. It's not everything, but it's a lot of things in the fishing community, and especially down over there on the coast, man. Like, it's a close-knit community. I did want to ask one more question. So I will say this, dude, your rods are some of the lightest rods I've ever held and used before. That is one thing that, man, after a 14-hour day of practice, and slinging around a jerk bait and slinging around some other baits and stuff like that, I will say that I was not worn out. Like, my wrists weren't tired. My elbows didn't hurt. That was a huge deal for me. Like, it removed a lot of the fatigue from the situation. So I can definitely attest to your rods being some of the lightest that I've ever felt before. Why did you decide? Go ahead.
The reason I decided I kind of key in on lightweight rods is because a lot of times when I'm not only just tournament fishing in saltwater, but a lot of times when I am just joy fish, going for fun, I will find a bait or a lure that works that day, and then I want to stay on that bait or lure all day long. I don't want a rod that's going to be so heavy that after 2 hours of fishing with it, you're worn out. So every rod I make, I try to find the lightest components that I can, and grips, reel seat, and get everything balanced where you can, for example, if you're throwing a crankbait, you don't want a crankbait rod that, after you cast it 45 times, you're worn out.
Right. Yeah.
You need that rod to work with you and not you work the rod.
Sure.
So that's why I do a lot of things very similar to big brands, when it comes to weight ranges on certain things or line ratings on certain things. But also the other thing is, like, kind of one of the jerk bait rods you got to test out. I don't know anybody else that makes a jerk bait rod like the one you got to test.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it was funny too. I was telling Ben this, like, that Ben, not that Ben. When I was down there practicing I was actually in the Kissimmee River, and I was using his jerkbait rod. And that's when I had a guy from who was another competitor pull up, and I think I yanked like 3 bass off the same spot, and I'm sitting there reeling them in, and I was like, oh crap, dude, I'm screwed. Like, it was a good spot. I had a bunch of keeper fish on it, dude. That tournament day one, that guy ran right to that spot, dude. So it's because I was catching fish on your custom rod, and that guy stole the spot from me. Whole buzzards, man. I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. The cork. Why'd you decide to go with cork handles instead of more of a synthetic material? Is it because of the weight as well, or because the OG style?
A lot of the times, like especially with the tackle shops, or if I'm doing a rod for giveaways at tournaments or raffles and things like that, where I don't know the person that's building it, I'll put cork on it because that's what everybody knows. That's what a lot of people are used to. So if you start putting like carbon fiber on it or things like that, people they don't like it as much. And Dana would be an ugly stick for life person.
I was hoping that'd pop up on his screen.
That's why I put it up on the screen so everybody could see that Dana is ugly sticks for life, by the way.
Yeah, Dana with his ugly sticks and his sea hunt boat, that just goes hand in hand. One with one.
Pete Dub said it's hard to beat high quality cork. For all you don't know, Dana and Ben are good friends, and they're both saltwater hammers, man. We've got to fish with both of them, and it's a fun time. You guys have a lot of healthy competition down there between you two, don't you?
Well, the fun thing is Dana is actually on the guide program, and me and Dana both fish the same inshore tournament trail. My boat's fishy when I'm on it. I just had surgery this summer.
All right, we got to let's settle this right now. We don't want to create any bad blood, but let's settle this right now. Who's the better fisherman?
Sounds like we need a tournament. One of us goes with Dana, one of us goes with Ben, and winner takes all.
I'm good with that.
Hey, all right. But
let's set it up.
Cool down a little bit more, and then we'll do it. But yeah,
it's too hard right now.
Because Dana actually helped me test and develop some of the live bait drum rods that he's using on the guide program this year, and we both fished the same inshore tournament trail, so we've got a lot of camaraderie, but we also have a lot of healthy competition at the same time, so it's a lot of fun.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, we got to fish with both of you guys. Uh-oh, man. We're starting some wars here. Yeah. I mean, the points do matter, Dana. Like, points are everything. So, Ben, but Ben's on a medical leave of absence right now. We got to give him that grace, right? Like, he's on medical leave of absence. Yeah.
Well, also, like the two tournaments we've had so far this year in the tournament tour, I literally have my two worst tournaments I've had since I started tournament fishing, back to back. Like the two worst I've had back to back. So it's a terrible excuse, but that's what my excuse is. I'm using it.
Dana said you have stinky feet, and that's the reason why you opted into surgery is because you knew you weren't going to win the points. So he said, sit out the rest of the year.
No,
I agree with that.
Hey, it's better than having when you're leading them points.
That's true. Well, speaking of tournaments and stuff like that, man, what are the tournaments that you guys fish down there over there on the coast?
So the one for inshore, the two biggest ones are the Neuse River Fishermen, and that's the one that me and Dana do. It's a inshore nonprofit tournament trail that helps support, local families, local things that are needed around the community. And the other one is also a nonprofit. It's the East Carolina Inshore Club, which is up out of like the Belhaven area. And they also do a lot of nonprofit fundraising things. It's a great club. It's just from where I live at, it's a little bit too far for me to regularly fish that one.
Yeah. Well, you got Fishers
of Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament out of Morehead City. That's there in my backyard.
That's the one. Is that the one Michael Jordan goes to?
That is.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah.
There's actual real money in that tournament, though.
No, that's not. That's fake. Made up monopoly money.
Is it?
There. That's big money.
I heard Michael Jordan flies his private jet in, and it's wrapped in one of his private jets, and it's wrapped in the same wrap as his boat. Is that true?
That is true.
No, it flies over here all the time.
Oh, does
He's
it?
going back for Chapel. He lands at Sanford Executive.
Oh, I've
seen it 3 or 4 times.
I've never seen.
It's got a big 23 on it. Yeah. There's no doubt who's
But
it
it's
is.
kind of like, it looks almost like the Ghost camo wraps that they have for like fishing shirts.
Yeah.
Where it's the white and the light gray. That's what his boat, and I don't know if his new boat's wrapped in it. The old boat was, because he had a boat that was a Viking, and then he had a Bayless that was built. And I think the Bayless just got done. I don't know if the Bayless got wrapped or not.
Probably not yet. I'm sure it will be. I think he can probably afford it.
So with you and Dana's powers combined, do you think you could beat Michael Jordan's team?
Inshore or offshore?
Offshore. I mean, isn't that what they fish is offshore for like blue marlins and
I don't
stuff?
think Michael Jordan's boat could go inshore.
Well, then you win. Then you win.
No, I mean, Michael Jordan's got some of the best crew that you can have. I mean, his crew is excellent. They've got everything dialed in on that boat.
Best crew money can buy.
David
I'm not sure
Fuchs
it's
said
the best crew that money could buy, because I'm sure you could go around and cherry pick one from here and one from there. But the crew that Michael's got's a great crew. I mean, but North Carolina is also just, we've got a lot of the best boats in the world fishing out of Morehead City, North Carolina. I mean, we just got a guy, they went down to the Bahamas. He won the Triple Crown in the Bahamas and came back home. So this is just mecca of sport fishing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do they all sail their boats here? I mean, they're not really sailboats, but they do. Like they got to go through the Panama Canal and all.
Probably, and drive them down the intercoastal waterway and stuff like that. Yeah, that's insane.
We have guys from Texas that come and fish the Big Rock, and the only way they get those boats here is by driving around Florida and coming up the coast.
Dang.
Yeah.
The Gulf of America.
Money.
Big money. God, we're sitting here bass fishing for beans, man.
Paying like $87 a gallon for fuel, and they're driving from Texas.
Oh,
like, man. I won $7 in the Tuesday nighter, but I didn't really win because it cost me $47 in entry fees, $70 in gas, and $97 in gas to get there.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, if you want to have a lot of fun, if you want to do the math on the fact that almost all of those boats get less than a mile to the gallon.
Oh my gosh.
I believe it.
That's unreal.
Dana did say he would dunk on that team.
Dana would dunk on the team. David Fuchs said it's a catch-23.
Are they diesel?
Oh, they only wanted $7 million for the old catch-23, David. I might order 2 of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Are they diesel fuel oil? Do they even get up to? I mean,
if it's one of these sport fishing style boats like what Michael Jordan has and what the Jarrett Bays and the Hatters and Vikings, yes, all of those are diesel. And then you do have some really large center console boats that are gas, but most of those really large ones are still getting 1 point something miles per gallon.
That's insane.
That's
bro.
hot.
That's insane.
Is that a nautical mile or a real mile?
I don't think it matters at that point.
Then what's the difference? No, I'm just kidding.
Learn me, Captain. Learn me. Well, before we move on, I want to talk about some things that we talked about before the show started.
Dana, one last said, Vikings are pretty, but Jarrett Bays raises fish. I don't know what that means, but
what does that mean?
So that means that Vikings are some of the prettiest boats on the water, but a Jarrett Bay, which is a North Carolina branded built boat, when they say raise fish, they're running 6 lines behind the boat trolling, and the boats have to bring the fish up from 200 feet, 300 feet. So by raising a fish, that gets one up into the spread that you're going to get hooked up on.
Okay. Well, Pete Dubs countered your.
So they're basically using an A-rig.
Yeah, it's a giant Alabama rig, man. Pete Dubs said he's going to stick with freshwater in his kayak. That is, you know what? Besides fishing off the bank, that's about the best option when you're trying to save money.
Those guys take them kayaks in the ocean and go fishing.
Dude, screw that.
I got a buddy that does that. He's gone down to Florida and caught marlin and stuff in his kayak.
I just don't know about that, man. Like, you're out there, there's giant sharks. Everything in the ocean wants to kill you, okay? And you're out there looking like a seal paddling around, dude. Like,
no, they all got motors now.
Yeah, but still, dude.
Could you imagine hooking up with a marlin? You just get pulled out to sea.
Bro, how many people... Dana said acoustics of the motors and wheels create sound that make the fish curious. Yeah,
Makes
dude.
Sense.
Like, we were all taught when we were young to keep your mouth shut. Your dad or your grandpa's yelling at you, shut up, you're going to scare the fish. Not in the ocean. Everything wants to eat
Pete
you,
Dubs
bro.
says there's sharks in the ocean. I ain't taking my 12-foot plastic boat out there.
Do you guys see that a lot out there on the coast? You see kayakers out there trying to get some of those big sport fish?
So in North Carolina, not really, just because a lot of those fish are, anywhere from 15 to 60 miles offshore. But I did see that they just had a United States versus Canada kayak championship. And I think it was down in South America somewhere where they were doing it for points and they were catching tuna and dolphin, mahi, jacks, all out of kayaks, and none of the kayaks had motors on them.
Oh my God.
America for sure won that. So,
So I mean, saltwater kayak fishing is a big thing On the West Coast and down in
Yeah.
Florida, it's a little bit more of a thing because they're closer to deep water and closer to, the Gulf Stream in certain places to be able to get a kayak out there and do it. I've heard of some people in North Carolina that would take a kayak, put it on a big boat, and kind of like ferry it offshore, and then they would get on the kayak and just paddle around and try to do it.
I'd be scared of getting a kayak in the Gulf Stream with that current. You're gonna go
Well, that's
all
why
the
you
way
have
there.
another boat that kind of just keeps an eye on you and stays.
You're gonna end up somewhere
within
eventually.
eyesight.
England.
I got a question that's going to start an argument between you and Dana.
I hope so.
Artificial baits or cut bait? Go.
Artificial.
Artificial.
I don't think that's gonna start it.
No, not really. But when you guys fish your tournaments down there, is it you can use it all, or is there certain tournaments artificial only?
What we do is artificial only. The ECIC is artificial only. There's a few tournaments that are kind of species specific or tournament specific that are live bait allowed. And some of those are like the old drum, like the big bull drum tournaments. A lot of those allow live bait, cut bait, or artificial bait. And there's a few speckled trout tournaments that allow live bait.
I know the debate.
If I'm fishing
What's
it,
the
it's
debate?
artificial.
Live baiters or cut baiters are the scopers of the saltwater world.
Oh. Do you guys have scopers?
There's a few. I mean, it's starting to become a bigger thing with live scope and salt water, but like with a lot of other things, me and you, Trey, we've talked about this, that salt water is very slow to adopt certain things. And that's just kind of one of the things that everybody's already got their boats set up, and some of our boats are harder to adjust and get live scope on.
Oh. Is that why you don't like using live baits? Because you have trouble throwing a cast net, Dana said?
Dana's never seen me throw a cast net, so he wouldn't know.
There's probably some guys that don't like throwing live bait because they don't want like stinky menhaden and, stuff in their boat. I don't know what else other bait fish are down there, but menhaden I know.
When we were little and we lived in Jacksonville, we'd go out in the New River and we throw a cast net to catch shrimp. And then we just bait our hooks and catch flounder that way. But then when the alligators moved in, so we quit doing that.
Well, let's ask Dana this question while we ask Ben another question. Dana, what's the craziest thing you ever caught in a cast net? And what's the craziest thing you ever caught in a cast net, Ben?
Sea turtle.
You caught a sea turtle? A sea turtle?
That sounds illegal.
Yeah. It's only illegal if you keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's cool, man. I mean, obviously.
What do you think sea turtle tastes like?
To be honest with you, it was absolutely miserable. Because you're trying to get a sea turtle out of a cast net at that point. It's
that
miserable.
doesn't sound fun.
Was it a big one or was it like a juvenile?
More of a juvenile. I mean, it's probably about 2 feet long.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very big. It's just aggravation because, the cast nets have those individual mono lines that go from the top of the net all the way down to the lead line. So he got tangled up in every single one of them. It was a nightmare.
Dana said the worst thing he's ever caught is a juvenile Spanish mackerel. I can imagine that's like 100 razor blades like thrashing around in there, isn't it?
That, and then their tails are very pointed. So between getting caught up on his teeth and his small face, getting caught up on, that Spanish mackerel caused an absolute tangled mess.
I just start cutting. Start cutting them out.
Spanish mackerel tastes pretty good. I think I did a trip out of Southport several years ago, and we got into a huge school of Spanish mackerel, and they were, you couldn't reel the spoon fast enough across the top of the water, dude.
Wow.
And they would just come and crush it. I mean, dude, saltwater fishing is so much fun, man. But a lot of freshwater fishing techniques and stuff work down there too, man, especially for we were talking, Ben called, redfish just saltwater carp is what they are, but they act a lot like a bass to me and stuff. They're really fun to catch. But so I want to switch gears here. We got about 10 minutes left. I want to switch gears here. And we'll ask Ben about this, in the saltwater world. Ben, we were talking before the show about following, anglers that have been doing really well on a certain body of water around, maybe trying to steal their spots or seeing if they're cheating, whatever the case may be. Is that something that you guys on the coast deal with quite often?
So I think to me it's my personal opinion, because I try not to pay attention to a lot of people around. Like, I don't want to follow somebody, so I don't really pay attention if somebody's following me. And to me, if you're looking at a boat 300 feet away, do you really know who that is unless it's a very distinguished looking boat? So I think a lot of times to me, it's more of, you see somebody post something, so you look at the background of their picture and go, oh, they were here, or they were there, or somebody else says something on social media and says, oh, we went here to this point, or we went to that oyster rock, or whatever. And spots get blasted more than somebody following an individual person, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, when you're posting stuff on social media, specifically when you're posting like places that are common, maybe not commonly known, but people, I don't know, maybe commonly known. But if you if I put a waypoint, if I say I'm catching them off the railroad trestle, everybody knows where that's at with modern day mapping and stuff like that. Yeah. They can literally look and find that out. That place is going to get smashed. But I bring this up because there was a social media post the other day, and an individual around here, he's a friend of ours, posted that he was pretty upset when a gentleman was following his son around the lake, and while it's annoying, it's not illegal unless it becomes harassment, right? And so I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on the matter. I know we've talked about it briefly, but when you got to understand something, this is for the audience, like, it's so hard to keep a healthy balance between trying to do product promotion and then trying to keep secrets on the lake, right? It's just really hard to do that. And one of the ways that I do that is by not even fishing locally. Like, I don't even fish the local lakes around here. And when I do, it's very rare. If I make a post, it's either on a community spot or whatever. And it's really hard to keep secrets anymore. But I kind of want to get your guys' take on this, like, based on the post, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, how do you, like, in your perspective, like, what do you think about that whole situation? I'll ask Pete.
What's up, Steve? How do I feel about the whole situation? So I can say 100% it's happened to me.
Yeah.
I know it's happened to you. I know it's happened to us fishing together. A few reasons I know is because I've always had a very recognizable boat. So in this freshwater world, I know everybody by their boat. I may not know your name, but somebody can tell me what boat you run, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I see him on X Lake all the time or on Y Lake all the time. Yep. If your boat's wrapped like Trey's and I, it's even more obvious of who the person is. So I know it's happened to me. It's annoying, like super annoying, especially when I usually just end up running a bunch of trash when that happens and giving up on whatever my plan was for the day. It made me quit posting a lot of social media stuff outside of like doing videos for the podcast and stuff on the podcast socials, not on the water, just because you start posting, and no offense, anybody on here might have done it, but then it's like constant messages of, hey, where'd you catch those fish, or what are they biting on? And I don't mind helping, but it's just never really reciprocated, right?
Yeah.
So like if I were to reach out to one of those people and be like, hey, I saw you had a good day, what were you doing? And then it's like cricket. So
yeah.
It gets to be frustrating on that side of thing, but here's my opinion. And the guy we're talking about, his kid's an absolute stick, not just on one body of water. He does it on a bunch, but he's had an absolute run on a local body where he's won like 6 or 7 tournaments in a row with bit like dominated. And they had somebody following him at one, it's a weeknight tournament. If anybody, I'm sure people can put it together if they're around here, but I'm not going to call anybody out by name. Man, it's twofold. So one, like, my advice to people that are having that issue, stop posting on social media. We all want to brag on ourselves and our kids, but as soon as you do that, you're painting a big target on your back, right? Like, people are like, well, dang, that guy's mashing them. Now, the person that did this following ended up commenting on the post and essentially said, like, I quit tournament fishing because people will do anything to win, and I'm just trying to keep people honest. So he's insinuating he felt like this kid was cheating to win these tournaments. So he was following him, and I quote, to keep him honest, which I don't believe for a second. I think he saw the weights this young man's catching, and wanted to see where he was fishing and how he was doing it, which it's going to happen. Like, I've seen dudes sit with binoculars and watch people fish. Trey and I have been on fish and had dudes roll up, and they're dropping a waypoint. We had a guy watch us for an entire tournament day when we got on him one day and was talking to us like, I'm coming here tomorrow. We got a club tournament. Yep. And he watched us just absolutely mash the fish on this spot. So it's going to happen, right? It's not me. Like, I don't run the bent rod pattern. I've certainly seen people fishing an area, and I've been like, I've never looked at that, and I may graph it another day if there's nobody on there. But if I see, and Trey and I are friends, so we share a lot of the same stuff, so it's not a good example, but if I saw Ben Willis sitting on a spot and I went and graphed it the next day, he wasn't on there, and I was like, oh, that's what he's fishing, right? If I was fishing a tournament against him, I'm not going to run to his stuff, right? Like, for me, that's just not right. Like, if I know he's been fishing X, Y, and Z, like, that's his stuff. For me personally, I'm not going to, or I'll talk to him before. We've done it with Jesse Wise is a good example. Yep. Hey, where are you starting? You got a better boat draw. Well, we were planning on going here. Well, I found those fish too, but I'm going to go here. That way I'm out of your way. Or, hey, is there room? Do you mind if I come in there? Yeah, no, there's plenty of room. If you have a relationship, you can talk beforehand, but just like the random following that occurs, it's super annoying, but there's nothing you can do about it. Unless they are actually harassing you or impeding your ability to fish, you're just going to have to deal with it. And the only way to avoid it is to stop posting stuff on social media. Like, there's no other way to avoid it, but you have to post in today's day and age. If fishing is what you want to do for a living, whether it be guiding, tournament fishing, whatever it is, you have to be able to post what you have going on so people know you're catching fish. And yeah, Pete Dubs, he's a hammer.
He's a hammer.
So that's just my opinion. My opinion is, like, it sucks, but there's not a whole lot you can do with it unless it crosses the line. Now, if it's becoming harassment, if it's becoming impeding your ability to fish, then, it's time to make a phone call. But that's my opinion. If you wanted to stop, in all honesty, the only way to stop it is to stop the posting so people don't know what's going on.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think the other problem too is, a lot of people have gotten the respect for another angler has kind of gone out the window for some reason recently, where if you go to a shoreline and you see someone, trolling motor down there working a bank or, working a stump pile, whatever, and you see them catching fish, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go right there. That, you want some people pull right up beside you nowadays where, 10, 15 years ago, people give you 500, 600 feet of a shoreline, and then they'll go and they might work that same shore, but they're going to be far enough away that you never impede one another, no matter what speed you fish at versus the other person. Yeah. Because you got enough room where you're not going to catch them. And I think also the other thing is we just have a population density nowadays that we've never had before, that anytime you get on the boat, you're going to see somebody.
Oh yeah, I don't know who put it in the comments, but I think Dana said, like, there's just more people on the water now. It's kind of inevitable. Ben, what do you?
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember anyone actually just following me around the lake. And I had a recognizable boat because I had the one power pole.
Yep. So I knew who you were before I knew you because of your boat. Yeah.
Because just the one white power pole. Now with the wrap on there.
Dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway. But so I haven't fished tournaments in a long time, and even when I fished the club tournaments, like, I wouldn't post anything on social before the tournament, or like This is also when I was doing YouTube videos. So like when I was doing YouTube videos, like, you saw all the background and stuff, and my philosophy was, hey, look, you can't hardly catch an everman's fish. You can come here the next day and not catch them. Also, some of those videos, a little secret, they were taken over 2 days, multiple days. Yeah. I may put the same shirt back on. It looked the same. Yeah. That's why there's multiple, like, 6-pounders being caught instead of just like one and a bunch of dinks. So like sometimes you got to be careful what you see on social media and YouTube, because sometimes there's movie magic involved, and that's just a little secret. But if you go look at a lot of the thumbnails and a lot of the pictures I take of big fish, because I know people look at backgrounds, I'll put my phone up against the console and kneel down with that fish across.
Correct. Yeah.
And basically it's me, the fish, the bait in its mouth. Cause with the lure business, I want to do product promotion.
Sure.
And then it's just really in the sky. Of course, the videos and stuff I did in my private lake, it's a private lake. So good luck getting there. The people who live there, well, there's only so many who bass fish. So there's only so many spots in 400 acres, whatever. So, but like it is a dick move to follow somebody around and pick them up like on the same day of a tournament, or if you're practicing for the same tournament, like Pete, we were talking about. It's one thing to kind of get like, so there's also one thing, like if you're fishing offshore and everyone is on the bank, it might cue into something, maybe not spot, but like people, we pick intel and stuff out there.
Sure. All the time.
Intel, but there's a fine line between, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong if I'm not catching them out here, or I'm on the bank and everyone's offshore, that maybe I need to adjust something. But you can't just go like get up on their spot. Like I've had guys, I remember a tournament at Falls Lake I went to, I crushed them during practice, a little community hole on Falls Lake, but I had like 2 or 3 boats roll up my knee, and I stayed there for several hours. I just blocked them off. I just kept trolling around, blocking them off, so they really couldn't get on the spot I was fishing.
Sure.
You had to play defense, and also, it's just when you post on social media, especially when you're doing videos, like people are going to see the background and people are going to see that lake. So you just have to be conscious of that. There's ways to get around photos. If you're just out fun fishing, like you can put your fish in the live well for a few minutes and go half mile down, take your photo, and then you can move the fish back if you want. Maybe you don't want to do that if you're practicing for a tournament, because you hopefully want to catch that fish. You don't want to, again, so in 2 or 3 days, so you don't want to stretch them out. So yeah, I think we're all along the same lines here.
I look at it like this, man. Like the day and age of finding a healthy balance between social media marketing, promotion for product. If you are that guy or gal, if you're trying to do that, there's a couple people in the comments talked about blurring the backgrounds out on the photos. Ben, you gave some tips and stuff like that. Just know that success breeds curiosity. It's no different in any other thing that is done in the world, from corporate espionage, spying on successful companies, to, NFL, NBA trying to steal the other team's playbooks. That kind of stuff is normal. This is not an abnormal thing.
It's also something like if you're prepping for a tournament, everyone goes on YouTube and so like type in, I don't know, pick a random lake. I don't know, Lake Wiley or something, right? And you watch the videos and you try to figure out where they're at. But like those videos could be 3 years old. They could be a month old. Like most people aren't fishing at like 3 days before your tournament.
Right.
So like you could even go to that exact spot and the fish will be gone. You still have to put in your time and effort.
And that's the thing, right? Like you hear it from our good friends on like the Bassmaster Elite Series, the guys at the MPFL, the Opens is just like it. Like no matter what you do, you will have company, right? It's just going to happen. And so if you're that guy or gal that's promoting success on social media in a public forum, just understand that you are going to get a lot of curiosity. And if that means somebody's following you around the lake and they're not harassing you and it's just pissing you off, well, then you're going to have to manage it accordingly, right? And you can take some steps to do that. Also, all the guys that are successful with fishing most of the time don't ever fish their juice until tournament day. But once it's tournament day, man, everyone's watching you. If you think for 1 minute that guide boats, whether or not it's out there offshore fishing or inshore fishing, guide boats don't see tournament anglers blasting them. Guide boats steal waypoints just like everyone else, right? So, just be mindful of that stuff. And I know the rest of the fishing community got on that Facebook post and talked about we should shun this guy and, this should be illegal and all this stuff. Look, guys, you need to manage your expectations accordingly.
It's public water.
It's public water. And the same bass anglers that get pissed off when a dock Karen comes down and says you can't fish this water and they tell her you don't own this water. Well, you don't own it either. Right. So you need to practice what you preach. It's like
hunting on public land.
Exactly. It's like hunting on public land, man. Like it just is what it is. So, but it makes for good conversation and hopefully this helps some people out. Ben, you're no stranger to it. I'm sure people watched us last year absolutely annihilate those fish. Now, granted, most of those guys couldn't get to where we went to. So that was a good thing. we were running some of the skinniest water I've ever ran in my life before, dude. So it was awesome. Dana jumped off here. He said, definitely Ben, buy some Corsound custom rods from you, Ben. You rock. And before we end the show, Ben, where can people go to find Corsound custom rods, and how do they order from you? How does that process work?
So they can find me on Facebook through Ben Willis, Facebook Corsound Custom Rods, Instagram Corsound Custom Rods, or Trey and Pat both have my cell phone number. So if you can't find me on Instagram, get up with Trey and Pat. They have my cell phone number. They'll share it with you. I'm not real big on sharing through podcast phone numbers and stuff.
Yep.
That's cool. Know what might happen.
Shoot us. Go ahead.
And the typical order process goes, you tell me what you want rod-wise, like what you want it to do, what the specifications, what technique do you want, and what grips do you want, style of fishing, spinning, casting. So we go through that entire process, and I give you a price breakdown, and then I get a deposit up front for the materials. And then once the rod's completed, and if it needs to be shipped, we can work out the shipping price and have it shipped, or do a local pickup or a in-between pickup.
Awesome.
So the average, and I don't mind sharing this, the average custom rod price for me is anywhere from $250 to $310 to $320, and there are some that go above that, but the average is $250 to $320.
Okay. I mean, you're paying $250 for, a lot of high-end rods that are big manufacturers and stuff too. So you can go on to Tackle Warehouse's website for you bass anglers out there and look at high-end Abu Garcias and St. Croix and G. Loomis and all that stuff. And you're going to pay a lot of similar prices, sometimes more. So definitely check Corsound Custom Rods out. If you guys got any questions, want his contact information, hit Pete, myself, or Ben up. We'll share his number with you, and you guys can order through him. I'm telling you right now, firsthand experience, some of the best rods I've ever used, some of the best rods I've ever used for sure. And we're light. Ben, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon. Any final messages for the audience before we sign off here?
I got one last one, and it's probably going to go back to the following people around the lake. And it's, I remember when I was younger, sometimes you find spots because you see somebody on social media post on it, but also sometimes you find it because you're fishing and you get lucky to happen to find that rock ledge or the stump field that you didn't know was there before. So, just remember, sometimes when you think you're the only one that knows about a spot, you're probably not. And
right, 100%.
To be respectful to those other people around you while fishing.
100%, man. Words well said. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon, man, giving us a breakdown of Corsound custom rods and having some fun. Thanks to the audience for engaging with us this evening. Ben, we'll be in touch, brother. Thank you so much, and thank you for helping us continue growing a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.